in the wintertime, the frost on the windows would be 3/4 of an inch thick when we get up in the morning. Oh. And in addition to the blankets we had, all the coats in the house would be on somebody's bed, trying to keep it warm. It was an exciting time for us, our life, being on the farm. But the three older girls never stepped foot in the barn. Never. In the 3 years we were there, never stepped foot in the barn.
Is this the house where the wallpaper fell down? Where you put wallpaper up and it fell down?
Oh no, that was later in life. I was married. That's another story and another day.
Okay. So how did they get the big logs into the basement?
On the outside there was a big, what would they call those doors?
Cellar?
Yeah, but they were cellar doors. They opened up this way.
Oh, yeah.
It was kind of a slanted thing so the rain wouldn't open them up and you could almost drive a golf cart in them. And it was amazing.
And you only lived there 3 years because Josephine wanted to sell it?
She wanted to sell it, yeah. She needed the money probably because she bought a nice home in town to have roomers. And they were all teachers, so she had a first class.
Did you have neighbors close by, or were you the only house?
Right there, the neighbors were where those houses are. And there's only one neighbor between here and that corner. In this little section of land between here and the highway we come in, there's no houses and never have been a house in there. And the neighbor here, his fence came right down to this corner. And it was a fence that was kind of woven like that. And he had a little dog, and he'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to milk. And my bedroom was right up here in the corner in the house. And the windows were floor-to-ceiling windows. That dog would come out here and sit there in that corner and bark and bark and bark and bark. And to this day, I hate dogs.
Did you, Armin, did you use was it 63 acres?
63 acres.
Did you use it for farming?
All farm, yeah. We had one time we had as high as 18 cows. My dad went all through the neighborhood and bought all the old cows that people didn't want. And one cow had some kind of bugs. I don't know what they call them nowadays. But we took and put some stuff on them to kill the bugs and took all the hair off the cow. So we had one cow that was bald, his whole body. And Bear and I had to get up and milk. And I would go out and milk, and Bear would milk. Bear being 3 years older than me, he had a lot more ambition today. And he went to high school and he knew he had to get the milking done before he went to school, and I didn't care. I went to school at night. And I would put my head against the cow and fall asleep. And Bear would milk 3 cows to me. And one day he got tired of it, and he took a full pail of milk, which is about 14 gallons, and dumped over my head. The whole thing.
That apparently woke you up.
I never slept from that point on. And we had 3 cats, and we'd sit there, and we could take that cow's teat and do this to it, and the milk would go over right, and the cat would sit there. We'd have more fun and waste more milk. So we had lots of fun here.
And you drank the milk?
I beg your pardon?
You drank the milk?
Oh yeah, we had a separator. We had to turn that. A separator. No. It was a separator. They call it a separator. That's right. It separated the cream from the milk, and it had a flywheel on it. I could barely start it up. You had to really turn. And the little one, that was his job. The other did the washing and poured the milk in, and it separated cream from milk. And at one time, and then we sold the cream to the dairy downtown, the dairy. And it got so cheap, it was about 10 cents a gallon, or a pound, I don't know which. But it was too cheap to even take it to town. It cost more money to take it to town. So every day we made ice cream. My mother used to love, she had recipes, and every day Bear and I would churn ice cream. We had a bench outside, and we had ice cream every day because that was the only way to get rid of the cream.
What was the favorite flavor?
She had a toffee bar. She'd take toffee bars and crunch them up and put it in there. And, oh man! And we made ice cream that was better than the ice cream they had down at the dairy because it was made with pure cream. Yeah, we ate good while we were here. We all gained weight.
Did you have chicken?
I went from that size fella to that size fella.
No, I don't think I had to do much because I was.
Yeah, you were the youngest. You had the, yeah, you didn't. You went over and picked strawberries. And Bear and I had to mow that lawn with an old single mower that was only about that wide, and it took us all day long to mow that lawn. But people used to go by the golf course and tell my dad, "Oh, your lawn looks so good." And he'd tell Bear and I, "That's your pay." People say you did a great job.
There you go.
Yeah.
So did the house eventually burn, or did they just
No, they
destroy
tore it down for the wood in it. The wood was far because there is today you can't buy walnut wood. And I worked for Howard Miller Clock Company, and we made a lot of our clocks out of walnut wood. And we ended up buying pieces that small because that's all the size you fit in. So walnut wood was very, very expensive, and the house was worth it. We had a hallway upstairs. The ceilings were 20 foot. Imagine 20-foot ceilings. And the one hallway from the girls' bedroom, the big girls' bedroom, to my bedroom, which is on this side, the wall rounded like that. It was a beautiful, beautiful home. And the gingerbread on it was as tall as 6 foot from the bottom of the gingerbread all the way around. It was beautiful, beautiful place.
So does anyone own this now, and do they
Oh,
have a
I'm sure.
house?
There's not a house on
There's
the
not a
property.
house.
But I'm sure somebody still owns it. In fact, the people who bought it came from down south, Detroit or some area, and they were going to grow cabbage. And they bought that farm. My Uncle Earl lived right down at the end of this house. And when we go down there, when you take them down, the house is still there, and it's the same house that's been there over 100 years. And,
Was this Bernie's brother?
Bernie's brother, Earl, yeah. And Bernie's brother and Earl's brother, sister, was a nun, Sister Mary Pierre.
Sister Mary Pierre.
Right, and his daughter, Carol, was also a nun at one time. She isn't anymore, but she was in Washington, D.C. And we used to take the milk. They'd buy some of the milk, and Bear and I would carry it down there. We had a great time here. It was a great time of our life because...
Yeah, the back stairs was closed in, and it had a ledge. And I'd go up to bed, and the boys probably armed me, standing there to scare me.
That was a house down in
Well,
D
that
Street.
was too, but in here too.
Yeah,
I think those boys were mean to you.
oh, they were. We scared the girls. Girls and boys in our day were enemies. I mean, you never had a sister or a brother. You had an enemy.
No wonder she didn't share her strawberries.
Right.
You know, Mom Phyllis, one of the stories that I forgot to put in was when I had friends stay overnight, she would always hide around the corner, and when we least expected us, would scare us half to death. But my friends loved it. They'd always come back.
They loved to be scared. Yeah. And she'd do the same thing with us here. And Phyllis, being the oldest girl, when Mom and Dad would go away for a weekend or somewhere, Bear and I there was only 2 bedrooms. This was a house downtown, not this one. And Bear and I would fight constantly, playing, but we would constantly be jostling each other. And Phyllis and the girls and the rest of the girls would be asleep in her bedroom. And she'd come and get us, me particularly, and put me in bed with her. And the bed were narrow beds, And man, half me was hanging off. And so.
They were called 3/4 beds. They weren't a single.
Yeah.
They weren't a full bed. They were
No.
Yeah, I'm familiar with those. Oh,
Well, that's about it, folks.
Well, that was great.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
Well, how much do you charge?
I don't know, but it's going to get more expensive from here on.
and then